even with the score the way it was, like it, in my opinion, it was a lot closer than you would think. So like, here's my thing: is I don't even have a question for this game because it's like, oh, actually, you know what? I'll ask this question: are the Rams a sneaky playoff threat if they make the playoffs? Like, could they beat a team? Could they win a playoff game this year if they made it to the playoffs?
No, for sure. I think, kind of like, in a sense, it's almost like that Eagles game. I think it's almost like my comparing point because let me be clear, I don't even think they played that good that game. That's kind of my point that I'm trying to make is, they showed you they can still hang with big dogs for sure, even when they're not playing at their best. So I think they're like the prime candidate for one of those teams that sneaks in with 9, 10 wins, and you're kind of like, what's going on? They're looking like a fraud, but they strike one out on you. It's they're in that very weird situation. But I 100% think that they're in that stratosphere.
I agree. I think they could sneak out a win. And something that I want to point out is like the way the Rams like evolved their skill players, like Cooper Cup, right? Awesome. But then you look at it like Puka's played well. Tutu's played well. Kyron Williams has played well. Like McVay has done such a good job where it's like almost like if a player doesn't work in his system, it's kind of like, is the player really that good? Like Cam Akers, we talked about it over and over again. They tried to trade him, he just wasn't working. You get Kyron Williams, and it works like that. Like my thing is like if a player doesn't work in McVay's system, I don't know if they're necessarily like all that they're made out to be. Just because I really trust McVay, and I think it's shown that also like Cooper Cup hasn't lost a step.
Oh, absolutely not. And side note too, it's like I think we'll use Tutu Atwell in this case, not even Puka. We'll use Tutu as our case study because again, when he had to get not even majority reps, but second, third majority reps in this offense, before Coop came back, first, let's go first 4 weeks. 6 receptions, 119 yards, 7 catches, 77 yards, 4 catches, 50 yards, a touchdown, 5 catches, 24 yards. Like the targets, and then the last 2 weeks only, two catches and then one catch, you know. But the thing is, I think my point is Tutu still is a good receiver. The point is, yes, when you're a good receiver in this offense and you're actually getting targets, you're going to expose yourself as either a fraud or a good receiver, and there's basically no in between.
Mm-hmm. Well, talking about receivers, something that's crazy too is like for on the Cardinals side of the ball, 10 different Cardinals were targeted in this game. And like I said earlier, like I think the game was a lot closer than the score would indicate. The Cardinals were in this game for a very, very long time. And
Yes, no,
I,
100%.
I think a thing also like where the Cardinals lacked is the run game. I think they really saw like the effect of not having James Conner. I really don't have much to say because outside of that, like the Cardinals played like exactly how you'd expect them to play. The Rams took advantage of when the Cardinals folded and they won the game because I think McVay is a better coach. So like I think it really comes down to that. I think obviously the Rams have a better defense, but it's just like this game was not like a lot of like people who don't like watch every game or like try to like keep up with every team. I think they probably look at this game and like, oh, this is garbage. This was actually a pretty good game.
No, it definitely was. And I think, yeah, like I want to say too about the Cardinals, man, the reality of the situation has come to. It was kind of like we were evaluating how to feel about them. The finale is in. They are a competitive, bad team for sure, bad team, but it's best case scenario because them showing they can be competitive with literally the bare bones scraps that Gannon is basically working with in terms of what other teams are playing at these positions. Look, man, that's what I'm trying to say is Gannon has these dudes. Let me be clear. I'm not saying anybody's trash. I'm not saying anybody's even a bad player. I'm just saying for what Gannon is working with compared to other coaches right now across the board is as a whole as a whole roster weight. The fact that he has them looking this competitive every single week when they still have almost basically every position group to kind of figure out. And then you got the X factor of Kyler. Are we going to hold on to him? Do we move on? Like the Cardinals have all the cards in play, and the cards just become even bigger. The deck gets bigger if you suck. Stay competitive, show you can compete in every game, but you lose because you want that extra deck in the card of like, okay, we're gonna draft really high on top of this with the other draft pick that we got. Like it's perfect situation to just stay competitive and lose. That's what you want to see if you're a Cardinals fan this year.
Yep. Shout out the Cardinals. everyone was really doubting them coming into the year.